Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be doing another beginner's dungeon journal, and this one's going to be for lower Blackrock Spire. Now this is one you might get when you're leveling up, if you're using the group finder tool, you're around like level 57, you're getting close to 60, and you're just trying to get there. This might be a dungeon you get, and this is one that I see a lot of people get lost in, they don't really know where to go. So I thought this was a good one to do next, and basically, I don't know how this is going to work for Shadowlands when we do level squish, if this will even be in the rotation still, because it is a bit of a niche dungeon, but I actually really enjoy farming this one, because there's a lot of treasure chests, and yeah, it's actually, once you know where to go, it's pretty easy. There's a bunch of shortcuts in this. I'm not going to necessarily show you them all, because that's not really the purpose of this, but it is possible that your tank or whatever could use the shortcuts. There's just one quest that I know of, and that's just to kill the end boss right there, so there's nothing special about doing that. You just pick that up and then kill the boss. So when we start off here, this dungeon is actually very normal as far as the normal things you have to do. So I'm kind of showing you down there the lava. You can jump down into that lava and take a big shortcut in this dungeon as well. That is one of the shortcuts. But basically, you're just going to be kicking casters and taking heavy melee hits. And if your tank or you or whatever are in the heirloom gear, then it's really not going to matter. And generally, what I'm going to say for these videos is that if you're the only person not in heirloom gear, the dungeon's going to go along as if everybody has it. It's not going to matter. It's not until about probably 3, 4, 5, and then of course 5 people don't have heirloom gear. That is when you're going to start having some trouble, and you'll actually maybe want to use CC. This dungeon has a lot of big pulls. I will show you these chest spawns because you can get rare items out of them potentially. So there's one chest spawn there. But you might want to use CC and stuff because there are some big pulls here. Some of the stuff does hit hard, but it's like I said, it's really only going to matter for heirloom people. Other than that, it's actually, because it's very tank reliant. If you have heirloom gear, it's going to be really easy. If you are the tank and you don't have heirloom gear, and maybe you don't have a lot of blue items or anything like that, you might, like I said, want to use CC and stuff. There's a lot of skippable pulls here. You can see, probably fairly easily some of the pulls you can skip. The ogres. So this is the first different kind of pull we get to, is these ogres. And this will take us to the first boss, this hallway here. And the ogres are going to just behave like normal larger creatures. They're just going to hit a little bit harder. So you have a pull of 3, a pull of 1, a pull of 3 up top. You can technically skip that pull, but I don't advise skipping if you are a new person, but if your group is skipping, then just skip and follow them, hug the walls, do what the group is doing. This first boss is really easy. It's just a complete tank fight. He does a knockback, and then he kind of like goes into a frenzy or an enrage. But again, just most bosses in here are extremely tanky. He also drops the head. If you get the pike, you can do an added boss. I'm not showing that in here because none of my looking for group dungeons when I'm leveling ever actually do it, so it's extremely unlikely that you'll need to do it. And it's the same thing, it's just a tank fight. This is just another one of the shortcuts, just showing you it, just so you know it's there. Maybe you'll fall down. Let's say the ogres are dead, you don't know where the hell you are. You're just in here with the ogres. So we're going to backtrack now and head over towards the next boss. So it starts off a little slow, then the bosses kind of hit right in a row. Like, I don't know, it's like 3 or 4 bosses right in a row, and it's really fast. So that pull is skippable. I'm showing you right there. Most people will pull that pull, but it is skippable, especially if you take the route that I just took. So we have, again, a couple skippable pulls in here. It'll depend on what your group does. I think a lot of the bosses are skippable too, but I always advise actually doing them. So this boss has 2 priests with it. If you were in a ungeared group, like 3+ ungeared, you would want to CC them probably. However, this just has a hex and a curse of blood. You can dispel the hex with magic, and you can dispel the curse of blood with curse, and the curse of blood is also interruptible. I'm not sure if the hex is interruptible or not, but You just deal with that as it comes. Hex is just a CC effect, crowd control effect. Just going to turn you into a frog for basically a polymorph for 8 seconds. Nothing really up here. This is a skippable pull. There is a goblin up here. I don't know if he's for a quest or not. I figured I'd show him, show where he's at, just in case you have a quest to talk to some friendly goblin. That's probably where it's at. When you come down here, you will take a right to get to the next boss at least. You can see a chest spawn right there. I'll go pick that up. That is one of the chest spawns. There's a few chest spawns in this room. So if you see them, they'll be on the sides of the room. I do kind of head over to where they are as I'm showing the video here, but handle them as you would. Big guy, just hits like an ogre kind of. Nothing special there. For this boss, just he has a few phases, but he's really just a tank boss. That's the best way to put it. Basically, if you're a tank, use your defensives. If you're a tank without the heirloom gear, etc., just use your defenses, and you'll be fine. Assuming you have a healer that actually heals you, you will indeed be fine. But he has a few phases that he goes into, but it's just alternating different types of tank attacks. I think he does have a frontal ability, just a general rule, and this is for any boss technically. For melee, you don't want to stand in front of the boss usually, unless there's some mechanic that you need to stack on the tank for. You typically don't want to stand in front of the boss. There's a chest spawn in that back corner. It obviously is not spawned for me. I think there's another one in this room too. I couldn't remember exactly where it was at. So now we're going to start heading into the real area here. Right above me, there is a chest spawn there as well. Right above that's the bridge from the very beginning of the dungeon. So you could also, if you had a way to live, jump down here and skip to this part. All kinds of places to jump down. For these pulls, what I recommend doing, there will be casters, because they can kind of get jumbled together, is to kind of pull them and then run backwards around the corners. There's a lot of corners here, and let everybody come to you. There's the start of the dungeon, basically. There's the lava I was talking about that you could jump down to. And if you do jump down that lava, it'll take you... so right at the start of the dungeon, if you see your tank jump down, this is why, right? Or your group jump down. They're skipping. There's some plate gauntlets there. I don't know if that only works if you do wear plate. It doesn't do anything when I click it on this rogue here. But that is where you would come up out of the lava. Again, a bunch of little pulls here. They can get jumbled together. Pull them back around corners. And be a little careful. You don't want to pull, 12 things if you're a new player. If you can help it. There's a chest spawn back there. It is there. So grab that. And another pull here. And then there's a skippable pull over here to the right. I think if the chest isn't spawned in the place we just got it, I think it perhaps spawns in there. Now we're into the spiders. So the big spiders, when you kill a bigger spider, they're going to spawn smaller spiders. That's basically their only added ability. That's also an ability of this boss, this web mother. She also has a poison and a crystallize. It's a magic and a poison. So you can cleanse off either of them if you have the right cleanse. And then when she dies, she'll summon some miniature spiders as well, just like the regular spiders you fight will. Nothing too special about her. Showing you how the thing they did with these endgame dungeons back in Classic or Vanilla, is they really tried to give the player choice where to go. That's why you can jump down the lava and skip stuff. That's why you can jump here and there and skip things. It's because of that. We have some ogre pulls here. Again, if you're not a geared group, and I keep saying that because this is directed for kind of newer players. You don't want to pull all these ogres together. If you did get the head and the pike, that skull pile there is where you would use that to summon a boss, and he's just a typical ogre boss who does typical ogre attacks, mostly tanky. You got some things here. Those will pretty much pull, so you want to pull those all and AoE them down. up here. There's a boss up here to the left. He's a quartermaster. He's actually insanely easy. He's almost just like a mob, really. He's very easy boss. Not even much to go over. I will say this: if you don't want to pull him with things, although he's completely fine to pull with one group, if he's standing like right there, where he patrols, you can actually pull him from like over top of this crate there, and then pull him back away. If you didn't want to pull him with the groups with them, so. Although I will say, I say to be cautious to new players all the time, but that is one that even a non-geared group could handle him with the ads most likely. I forgot I didn't go over his abilities, so I went and looked in the dungeon journal real quickly. So he just has a hooked net, a stun bomb that hits a random player, so that is something. He does drink a healing potion as well. He does heal, but again, he doesn't have a lot of health. He doesn't hit very hard, so he's just generally not that hard of a boss. Even for this place where none of the bosses are that hard. This is another really easy boss, this wolf. So I do go over his abilities. He just has a Rend and a Thrash, just tank. As soon as you kill him, you can kill his little ads too. The other wolf comes charging in at you. And that'll be what spawns that wolf. This wolf basically is the same thing, except for it has an infectious bite. That's a disease that can be dispelled. Again, just a tank fight. From that room, you take the first left. We're almost to the end already here. Like I said, it kind of speeds up once you get that slow start. You'll have a pole there. And then again, this will be a room where you can skip some things, like this pull over to the right there. That is skippable. And then we'll have a chest spawn back there. This one's almost always spawned. So you can grab that one if you desire. And then we hit up the final corridor to the last boss. We'll have a pole there. And then these last couple poles are a little bit harder again for new players. Not this one, but once we get into the room. You can kind of see like where you are in the dungeon from up here. You're at one of the higher points. So this is a big pole. You have one big guy, one caster, and then you have two big guys, an ogre and just a big troll. And then you have an ogre that pats. So again, you typically wouldn't want to pull him with the boss. This boss is actually insanely easy too. I mentioned at the beginning, all of them pretty much are really easy. What this one does is his main ability, you don't want to stand in front of him, but his main ability is he summons ads and you just deal with them. If you have 3+ heirloom people in your group, he's not even going to get a chance to summon the ads. So it's one of those things that's almost negligible because of the fact that most people in your group will have heirloom gear, and if not, then you just have to deal with the ads. So yeah, that's the end of the dungeon there. Good luck to all the new players out there. If you get this dungeon while you're leveling, please subscribe to the channel because that helps me out a lot. If you are interested in getting out, like let's say you didn't queue for this through the dungeon finder, I'm going to go ahead and show you a quick way out of here. It's just the way I take out. I think there is possibly even one quicker way out. But I just take the first left here after that room. Maybe you stumbled upon this video because you're farming it or you want to farm it and you're just trying to figure your way around. So then I just hop down right here and then I just go all the way around, and then this is the first boss we killed, was that ogre. So then you go all the way around, or maybe you just want to get to the front to turn in the quest even because you can teleport out and in, but sometimes I've had to actually not work once or twice in my, just probably bugged, but then you can pretty much tell where you are from here, and we headed all the way back. One thing I did want to add as well is up here, when we get to the top, I guess I'll stay till we get to the top here. When you get to the top, there'll be that pathway, that gap between the ogres and the ramp here. Demon hunters can definitely jump across that, so if you are farming it or whatever, this is a good place for a demon hunter just to do a double jump and a dash or 2 dashes, and you can actually get across there as well if you wanted to get back that way or get over there. But yeah, so like I said before, please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. And other than that, everybody have a good one.